Hello, hello, everyone. Gonna give a few minutes for you guys to filter into the room, but let me know that you can see and hear me. Not my usual spot today. Quick story. Well, I'll spare you the details of why I'm not in my usual spot today doing this webinar. Trouble with a capital T. I'm gonna guess who that is. Brian. Oh man. Hey, Christina. All right, this is great. We've got a lot to go over today, so welcome everyone. And yes. All right, well, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Lisa. I'm part of the team here at PhotoDay. I've been here from the very, very beginning, so I'm really excited about today's webinar. We've added a lot of new features, new things for this upcoming season as we all prepare for fall. And I'm going to go over some of those things today, but also some basics as well. Yeah, that's funny. Brian put an emoji in there. And yeah, I'm in my not usual place because they found I had termites in my house, believe it or not. So, and it's kind of disheveled at the moment. So had to make do with what we have. So that's been a fun journey for me and the kids who don't like bugs. None of us do. Um, but yeah, so we'll just get started here. PhotoDay, we've been around now for, I think we've been live since 2018. So we've learned a lot since then. It used to take me about 30 minutes to get through one of these webinars. Now I'm going to do my best to not keep you here for longer than an hour so you guys don't get bored with me. And I will take you through all the things. So let's talk a little bit about PhotoDay. And what for anyone new, if you're new, even if you've only tried us for a few jobs here in the spring, you might not know all of this, but what is PhotoDay about? This is kind of our little ecosystem, our world here, and the components that make up PhotoDay. So we have Studio Panel. I'll be showing that a lot today. That's your headquarters. That's mission control. That's where everything takes place. We have the Capture app. The Capture app is iOS and Android friendly. That is the secret sauce to private galleries and managing your images and data. Then we have galleries. That's where the end customer, your customer, shops. And then we have the Dashboard app. If you're not familiar with the Dashboard app, it's called PhotoDay Dashboard. You can download it on iOS or Android. It's compatible for both. And instead of logging into your studio panel from your mobile device, you can use the app and we'll send you push notifications about your sales all day long. And the Dashboard app is fun. It does make a little cha-ching sound if you do leave the volume on, but a lot of people love that Dashboard app, especially as the season gets started and you're ramping up for a successful season. So those are all the pieces. I used to compare PhotoDay to a taco. Anyone who knows me knows that I love tacos, and what makes a taco so great is all the different components of a taco, and that is basically what we are. So PhotoDay is a taco. All right, so let's go over today's agenda. We'll be going over a few things. I got 14 things. This is more for me to keep myself on track. So, and it's also for you later to go back and watch if there's a specific tidbit that you want to go and replay later. So put this together for you because we have a lot to cover today. Everything from post-processing services to measuring that level of success. So we'll be going over all of those things today. All right, so first things first, post-processing features. You guys might be using external service for this, but this is mainly to raise awareness that we do have some post-processing features available in PhotoDay right within your jobs. That allows you to only have to upload once instead of uploading to multiple places. We have knockouts, we have color correction. And now I will show a short video on how that works when we get there. But those are the two services that we have available for you in volume, and you can get to those right within your account within the job. So you can make a job, you can create that post-processing job, upload the photos to it, and you can select color correction or knockouts and knockout images. The backgrounds do not have to be green. They can be any knockout. Obviously, the quality of the knockout will definitely depend on the quality of the image itself, on how well it can do. But yeah, it's definitely saves you time. So well, you can do some of these things yourself, and you can do some of them probably less expensive. This is the convenience factor for many. And then we are starting to get into offering, like if you're doing large amounts of post-processing, just talk to us, talk to one of our, talk to the bubble, we see what we can do to help you out. But we sell credits for 10 cents each. The knockouts are 20 cents. They end up being 2 credits, and the color corrections, 1 credit. So that is the cost factor, but after you upload, run the post-processing, you can transfer those images directly into your gallery. So, oh, I should say this too. If you guys have any questions as we go along here, feel free to post them in the chat or in Q&A. And then we do have some team members here that are available to answer those questions as we move along. So feel free to shout them out, throw them out, type them out, and we will get to those as we move along today. All right, here are some examples of knockouts. This one was a green example. We can do green. It does have that spill correction in case you have some green as well. Thank you, Brian. That's trouble with a capital T, who is haggling me along this webinar today. So you missed it. You missed doing that. It's your job. All right. And those are some color correction examples that we have. So it does a pretty good job doing that color correction, and it's pretty instant. So I wanted to show a video here of how it works. Let me grab my video and I will start. It's actually really fast too, so I'm going to play that video here and you can check it out. So you create that knockout job, select the services that you want, and go ahead and upload the photos here. That's what that'll show you. After it uploads all the photos to the gallery, which depends on your internet speed, which is why I'm not doing all of this stuff live today. Let's see. I was reading some comments as we move along too. You can review the photos before you go ahead and submit the post-processing job, and you'll see all the photos that you had uploaded. And then you can go ahead and click submit. And it will send in just a few seconds. It'll tell you the status. Now, if you have hundreds or thousands of photos that you're post-processing, you'll definitely want to walk away from your computer. Might not be as instant as what's in this video for just 14 images. So, and then you can check the quality here. Now, if it doesn't do a good job, please let us know. We always like to just review and see what happened there as well. We can't do any custom cleanup. We don't offer that as a service, but we will review and check them out. But feel free to try that out. It's actually a very convenient service. So let me get back to my presentation here. All right, cool. Yeah, go get a sandwich and check emails. So today's webinar, we are all about private galleries. So there are things that PhotoDay has available for public and group galleries, but today is all about private galleries, how they function, all the different things you can do within a private gallery. I will kind of just touch on a few different points on what you can only do in a private gallery. So, so we see a lot of confusion around that sometimes, especially this time of year when you're new to PhotoDay or you haven't used it in a while. There are certain things that you could only do in a private gallery. One of those things being marrying data to images, right? Because the purpose of creating a private gallery with data and images together is to give each customer their own personal gallery within a job so they can only see their photos. Now, our shiny feature, Face Find, which allows end customers to find a photo with a photo by uploading like a selfie or an image of their child. That service is only available in public and group galleries. So in a private gallery, you're using Face Find to cluster the photos yourself, like with our tools, aka the Capture app. In public and group galleries, the end customer is using Face Find to find photos, if that makes sense. So anything that has to do with data, as far as exports, the yearbook selection feature, each person getting their own gallery, emailing each person their individual gallery. All of those things are only possible with private gallery. That also includes bulk shipping. We see this a lot as well, especially at the beginning of the season, where you'll create a price sheet, you'll want to make it a bulk job, and then you can't find that price sheet to attach to a bulk job, and that's because you did not, or you're trying to attach a bulk price sheet to a group job, as example, or you made a price sheet that is not a bulk price sheet and you can't attach it to a job for bulk shipping. So make sure, if you are interested in using our bulk shipping service, you fully understand how to get there, read the steps before you do it, and you'll save yourself a lot of frustration. So that is one of my pointers preseason, because I have been there. So, all right, the secret sauce. So what makes users successful when selling with the PhotoDay platform? There's a lot of different things, but I would say one of the main things that will enable success for your studio is having your marketing strategy done and figured out prior to picture day. And that is because all the communication that you are going to push outbound should tell the story of how and when and what you want your customers to purchase, right? So you have to have that strategy done before you go. Is it super important? Yes. Is it necessary? No. You can execute an entire job and not tell anyone about it until it's published, and then try to go back and work backwards. Do I recommend that? No, not if you have the time. Are there times where you have to do everything last minute? Yes, I've been there as well. So, but ideally, now we have the time. It's August. It's almost August. It's almost before we all start. We should really think about that marketing strategy. And what I mean by that is your incentives, right? When you're selling online, it's different. It's different, especially if you're coming over from paper forms that envelope, that sheet of paper did everything for you. It was your communication tool. It was the same tool that you use to collect package information, to collect the data or marry the data to it. Everything happened on that paper form, right? We're totally doing things differently when you come to PhotoDay. So you need to tell the story now. And as far as the different types of incentives that are available. Now, to avoid procrastinators, right? Everybody procrastinates, right? That is where the speed and spend incentives come in. That's you telling the story of how, when, and what you want your customers to purchase, right? We have a whole webinar about this. I won't get too much into it today, but I did want to stress the importance of this. This is how you get people to convert to sale. So speed is launching an offer with a time sensitive offer, within a few days, right? You don't want to give them too long because they'll forget about it. So if you create an offer and it's 30 days expired and you push out the communication 2 weeks before picture day and on picture day, but it still doesn't expire for 30 days, you didn't do a good job of creating that incentive to spend now, spend sooner, right? So you really have to think about that when you're determining your overall plan. There's a lot of different things you can do, and we are here to help get that plan ready for you depending on your job type. It's very important. Everybody works a little bit differently. The area you're in, what your customers are used to, where you came from before. We like to digest all of that and help you come up with the ultimate marketing strategy for your upcoming jobs. That is what we're here for. We have a whole webinar about it. It's called Elevate Your Online Marketing with PhotoDay. Stevie did a great job hosting that a couple weeks ago, and that is available in the webinar section of our website, as well as when you're logged into the studio panel. So highly recommend going through that. All right, let's talk about AdvancePay, because AdvancePay is different depending on what job that you're selling on PhotoDay. One, a lot of you guys do use sports, and that's a great, you can incentivize AdvancePay all different ways with youth sports. But in school photography, you go in and you photograph 100% of the subjects anyway, right? You're not trying to get them to have their photo taken like you are in youth sports or in dance. They're actually required to get their photo taken for the most part. So you have 100% participation on picture day. So it works a little bit different. So how do we incentivize with AdvancePay? A lot of people, I see or feel overwhelmed with it, because it is definitely different than pre-purchasing a package prior to picture day, and that is that paper form or online prepay sales method. When AdvancePay, they're not buying anything but a credit to your store to convert to sale later, whatever items they want in the store. And because of that, orders that have AdvancePay credits applied to them are higher than orders without, especially when there's incentives applied to them. It's kind of like the money spent is money forgotten. So if you start marketing AdvancePay in advance of picture day and 2-3 weeks goes by, there's probably another paycheck. There's probably family replenishment of funds that are going to happen. They have more money to spend at your store at their convenience, right? They're going to spend more money naturally. And that is why our data shows orders that have AdvancePay credits are higher. So I definitely encourage everyone here to think about using AdvancePay, learn the benefits of AdvancePay and how you can apply it to school photography. And I do have some ideas here, right? So some ideas. So if you're not offering bulk shipping to your school, you can offer free shipping with AdvancePay. They have to put skin in the game. They've got to commit to $10, $20, whatever you set that credit amount at before picture day, or even up until you publish the job, right? Until you publish, they can still buy those AdvancePay credits. You can give families time to do 10, 20 bucks towards a future purchase just to get the free shipping to offset that free shipping shipping cost. And when I say give away free shipping, I'm not talking about giving away your profit. I'm talking about strategically creating your packages to cover the cost of the incentives that you plan to do. That's why it's so important to plan this stuff in advance. And if you can do it. And I do understand with schools, you have contract package, your bid packages that you have to supply and things like that. They can be buried in a storefront. You know, we tried to do that on paper order forms, right? Those really cheap packages, make them small so somebody needs to whip out their readers to actually see it on the paper order form. They can still find those in the online storefront that you might have to have with some of the schools. But yeah, definitely create other packages and even your a la carte section to reflect whatever discounts you're given. I like the early bird savings as well. Just to give a percentage or a dollar amount off if they buy a credit on their final order. I guess that's kind of like a Groupon thing. If you think of how Groupon works, that's kind of how it works a little bit. That does also give them an incentive to spend more. You could put a minimum order on that as well if you wanted to. What we do recommend is make sure whatever special, whatever offer that you create for AdvancePay purchasers is your best one. Right? This has got to be your best offer. If you give a better offer later in the sales cycle, say in the 2-week window or 3-week window, it's not going to be fair for everyone that put that skin in the game early, right? And you might face some customer lashback. So make sure that you have your best offer attached to your AdvancePay sales to incentivize the people who are committing to purchase from you early. They should be incentivized accordingly and not later on. So watch out for that. When you're defining your strategy. Now, here's our first new thing, right? And I'm just going to say it out loud. I know you guys want combined checkout, multi-cart. We call it multi-cart, combined checkout. We are actively working towards that. So I just want everyone here to know that is when a customer can buy from multiple jobs all in one checkout, right? They may or may not have to pay multiple shipping rates depending on how you set up those jobs. That opens up a whole nother can of worms. Currently now, if all of the subjects that are placing an order are within the same job, even in private galleries, they can check out on one cart and pay one shipping price for it all to go to home. So that does happen now. The thing that doesn't happen is if you have like a baseball job from last fall and this fall, a parent is buying school photos. If they were to buy some baseball photos, they would have to check out those first. Those could be linked to a different lab. They could have different package rates before they shop in the fall portrait gallery for this fall, right? So they would have to do 2 separate checkouts in that case today. But if they're all in the same job, they can do one checkout. So if you're photographing schools this fall, it should be more than fine for you. Now the org pages, those are great because your the structure or the hierarchy of how it works is, you have your account, the studio, and then you have the organization page that you can create. You can customize it to that organization. It can be a school, it can be a league, it could be a dance school, anything. And all the subsequent jobs that you have linked to that organization when you're setting up jobs, you have the option to let them appear now on this org page link, and that link can be delivered to the school. And the greatest thing about this is that, schools use apps now to communicate with their parents. They use email methods to communicate with their parents. You can give the school one link to send out every time you do a picture day, whether it's homecoming, whether it's fall sports, winter sports, fall picture day, yearbook selection deadline stuff, and they can send one link out. The customer gets this org page link and they can select the appropriate job they're looking for their photos in to find their photos. So it really, really takes all those tedious steps up of you having to find which job they're looking for within that school, within that org, finding what the access code was or what their private access code was, and then giving it. So this is great for customer service, especially moving into fall season for you and for your customers and for the school, right? Because it's one link for everybody, and you can put that link in a QR code, have them scan it, make some custom flyers, put it on posters, whatever you want to do, and let them go find their images, right? That is the barrier we wanted to eliminate when you're doing multiple jobs for one organization throughout multiple years, right? So that is pretty exciting about the org pages. Now, I'm going to get in and do some live demo and share my screen, and I do have all the points on the agenda. You guys are really quiet though, so feel free to give me some shout outs as we go along so I can make sure that I'm not talking to myself during this whole process. All right, I am going to, I think I'm going to share, let's see what's on my agenda really quick. Cleaning and importing data is first. So I want to show that to you guys first on what that data looks like. All right, I'm going to share just a Google Sheet here. I'm going to turn my camera off for this portion of the webinar so I am not in the way. Well, I turned my screen share off, not the camera off. That was real fun. Okay, I'm going to turn my camera off for real this time. All right. Okay, so here on my screen, what I am sharing is an example of a spreadsheet that you get from a school, right? So my data looks really clean because it's sample data, but when you get a data file from the school, sometimes, I mean, this can be 700 kids, right? And data is all over the place. What you want to, one of the most common mistakes I'm going to tell you right now is this. I'm in view only. Sorry, Wes shared this with me, so I can't edit it, but I will show you most common problem here when a school export data and they just hand it to you is that there is a blank row right above this first row of the column headers. If that happens, it will most likely not appear when you go to import your spreadsheet. It's going to give you, because the first row, row one, needs to have the headers for the data that you're about to import, right? So just wanted to give you that little tidbit, save you a lot of frustration later for that. Also, you want to make sure if there's any wonky, crazy characters in here that happen between the school export and you opening the file. I use Google Sheets. Feel free to use Excel or Numbers or whatever you're most comfortable in. If you're not familiar with editing data, I 100% think that Google Sheets is super easy to use and it's free and you don't have to have any additional licenses for that. So use Google Sheets to edit your data and clean it up. But it is a great application for that. Just make sure it's clean. Make sure you don't have any blank rows in here. Make sure your first one has the necessary headers. PhotoDay requires first name and last name at a minimum. If you don't have first name and last name, if they're all in the same column, you can do like a split text to columns here. Don't go through copying and pasting your messy data that was given to you. If you don't know how to clean your data, ask us. That's what we're here for. Ask us in the bubble. One of us can point you in the right direction. We're here to help you guys with this. But this is probably the single most important part, to make sure that the data is clean before you upload it. It will save you a lot of headache later. Trust me when I say that. So, all right. So I wonder if I can just share this tab instead. Oh, I can. All right, cool. So this is home base, right? This is HQ. This is mission control. This is what it looks like here. Now, in the job that we're going to work on today, I created this Winter Park High School senior job, right? So let me just make sure I'm going here. All right. Now, when you create this job, you will be able to import data. This is what the screen looks like when you're going to import data, right? When you go to add your data, you can add it from the CSV file, or you can add manual data one at a time, or you can add it in your Capture app. So there's multiple ways to add the data. So once you import your data, you will now be able to set up our newest feature, which is Gallery Lookup. Gallery Lookup solves the problem. It's right down here after you import the data. You got to have data to enable Gallery Lookup. I can tell you right now, it doesn't work without it. But right here is where you can enable Gallery Lookup. Now, one of the biggest pain points that we've discovered in the last, I don't know, 5-6 years, especially since private galleries became a thing, is what happens if you don't get all your customers' email addresses, right? I just showed you a data file. It had absolutely 0 email addresses, right? So you can't automatically spawn those emails with those private access codes to every single subject. So what happens when you don't have emails? I mean, what happens when you just want to have that org page and your private gallery on there and communicate one link for everyone to go find their photos and look up their own code? That's where Gallery Lookup comes in for private galleries, right? You can configure which fields are required for them to enter to retrieve their access code. They go right into the gallery. And is this secure? Yes. I mean, it's secure as any other data verification that you do when you reset a password, or when you lost a password and it asks you those fields, like what are the fields that I would enter, that only I would know to get to, my account. That is basically what you're doing here. So in the data that we have, you saw we had grade, we had student ID, and we had first and last name. You can rename what these fields are. Like if you didn't want to use student ID, if you wanted to give everyone like a secret code, like your you want to give everyone a secret code, like your input field is your first initial, last name, and 24, for example. But that is where they go. So no, Neil, the access code, you cannot use Gallery Lookup in place of an access code. It has to have both, but Gallery Lookup helps them get into their private gallery. They will still have an access code. They don't need it if you're using Gallery Lookup. We'll just say that much. And I'll show you how that works so you can kind of get the complete visual. So I'm going to have student ID here enabled. You can add up to 5 or 3 additional lookup fields. I have 3 selected here. I'm just going to leave it at 3, and I'll leave student ID here. You could rename this field if you didn't want to call it student ID, and if it was something else more friendly, you can use that too. Here you can put like students, I can't spell, student's first name and student's last name. I recommend doing this, or the parents are going to put their first name and last name and then wonder why it doesn't work. So you can put student's first name, student's last name, and the student ID here, just to give the end customer clear direction on what they're supposed to be entering to retrieve their gallery. So I set that up. This can be totally set up in AdvancePay. In the past, we've had a lot of issues with one of the pain points was I don't have email addresses in advance, so I can't get those AdvancePay credits in advance of my private gallery picture day. Well, now you can with Gallery Lookup. You can send that one code while it's in AdvancePay, and they can get their look up their kid and then make the AdvancePay purchase, and that is linked to them in their account. So that is how you set up Gallery Lookup. I already have reference photos in there, but just pretend they're not there. I just did that for speed of this webinar so I can get through all the information with you guys in a very timely manner. All right, so next we are going to go into price sheets, because before we publish anything, we want to look at what price sheets are. So that's located in the store section of your account. I can go over AdvancePay really quick just so you can see what it's like to set up an AdvancePay credit sheet. Yes, Brian, I am a cheater. All right, so for AdvancePay, you can create your credit sheet. For schools, I'm going to recommend keeping it really simple. do not try to create credits that match your packages, because the end customer, that'll confuse them, because the end customer can choose to redeem that credit for whatever they want in your store, right? So it's definitely worth it just to keep your credits very simple. I'm just going to call this my fall school 24 credit sheet. You can add up to 4 available credits. This is good for other use cases, like they'll just say dance. I always say dance, but for like, if you're doing dance schools, recital costumes, and you want them to pay a different amount depending on how many costumes they're going to be photographed in, you can use that for this. People use it for all different things. You cannot currently link a specific offer to a specific credit amount. That just complicates everything, including reporting at the moment. But I just recommend keeping it simple. So in the world of school photography, I also recommend keeping it super affordable, depending on your school. So you can do it in denominations of 5. I'm just going to put a $10 credit here. And then you can write what you saw in this credit. You can write something additional here if you want to describe that credit in any way. You can put that here. But it is not required, and they will see this in the storefront once they go into the gallery, which I do want to show you after I get this credit sheet link and put this gallery into AdvancePay mode. So I made that credit sheet. I am going to open up that job we were in, and I am going to update the storefront, and I'm going to put that credit sheet in there and save. Now let's talk about incentivizing that credit. I can make offers in advance, or I can make them within the job. For the sake of this webinar, I just want to show you what making an offer in advance looks like. So here I'm going to do the free shipping offer. And this is going to be nice. Free ship. I'm going to create my offer code. You can just generate a random one if you wanted to. That way, some people put ship free or free ship. Those are the common ones that people just create and can add anywhere, but you can generate a random one for here. It's going to be tied to the purchaser of the credit, so you don't have to worry about it too much, because this is going to be used as an AdvancePay special incentive like we talked about a couple slides ago. You can put a minimum order dollar amount for this to apply. For anything free shipping, I always recommend that. I'm going to set it at 35. And then you can put an expiration date here if you're trying to do that spend and speed savings. Like whatever you do for this offer expiration date for an AdvancePay offer, do not set the offer to expire before you even publish the gallery and give people a chance to use that. We see that mistake as well very often. So this is offer expiration does not mean when the AdvancePay ability expires. What it means is that this code will not be able to be used at all after this date. That's what that means. So just don't do that. And max redemptions is how many times this offer code can actually be used. So if you don't want to give away more than 100 free shippings, then you would put this offer can only be used 100 times. That's what you would put that here. And it would, tell you how many redemptions it has left. I like to use this if you're doing like a special coupon code for like a helper at an event, and you want to make a 50% off coupon for them or something, but you only want it to be used one time. Once they use it, it's done. They can't share it around, nothing. That's when you would use max redemptions. So anyway, I wanted to share that little tidbit with you guys. All right, so creating the offer here. And now I can go back into my job and back into the storefront, and I can link that to my offer here. Requiring customer data. We have data in this job, so we don't need to do this. You can also let them preview the packages and products you're going to offer while your gallery's in AdvancePay status if you chose to do so, but I'm going to leave that off. Sometimes I think it can cause some confusion, especially if your customers are brand new to PhotoDay. It's good if they've been returning customers for a while and they just want to see what you're selling this season, and you've kind of been doing it a while and your customers know the ropes, right? So, but for brand new, I would leave it off. for simplicity. All right, now that that is all set up, I can go ahead and I can set my job to AdvancePay. And I will tell you this, I'm going to stop really quick. If you had, I'm doing all this saying like if you don't have emails, but if you do have emails, I will go over the marketing section really quick to see what happens when you start changing gallery statuses and what happens with the automatic communications and some of the different abilities you have in here. So auto campaigns we'll look at first. We have auto email campaigns and auto text campaigns. SMS is text messages for everyone who doesn't know that. So automatic email campaigns, by default, the advanced series is off. I can turn it on. And then you can view what these look like just by clicking here and it'll launch a support article. I won't show you what those look like, but these campaigns in here that are automatic are designed to bring the customer back to the cart over time, depending on your gallery status. So you don't have to set all of this stuff up in advance. It's done for you. And it's very generic. It points back to your studio. It has your studio information and it has the information about that person's gallery, whoever it's connected to in your private data when you import those emails. Post picture day series, this kicks off as soon as you publish a job, and then expiration will only kick it off when you have an expiration date on the entire gallery. And then of course we have this new one, which is the Yearbook Selection deadline series. If you're using our new feature where you can give the end customer the power to select their yearbook photo. That is our other brand new feature I'll be going over a little bit later here in this webinar. So those are the different series. Now the text series cannot be shut off, but I will tell you that these actually are very intelligent series of communication. They go away depending on the action that your customer takes in the cart. Like if they buy something, they don't get any more AdvancePay. If they buy an AdvancePay credit, they don't get any more, reminding them to buy. If they buy their photos on the first day of publish, they don't get any more of these series. If they've already bought photos and you have your gallery expiring, they don't get this series, right? So if they have already selected their yearbook photo the first time they get an email, they don't get any subsequent emails, right? So, and it's the same thing for the text marketing. So you don't have to worry about setting this. It's all set and designed automatically, intelligently within PhotoDay, depending on your end customer's behavior. We work different than a lot of things out there. So I want to, that's why I think it's so important to explain this stuff to you guys. Now, can you make your own email, your own manual flyer that you can print out an email and custom design it? You can within limits, right? So that's under the manual flyers. So you could make your own flyers here. You can make your own pre-picture day flyer if you're not doing AdvancePay flyer, publish flyer, whatever you want to do here, right? If you make your own flyer, you can go ahead and choose from a couple different layouts. I wonder if I can expand my screen to show the whole thing. I should have did that earlier. Sorry, guys. But you could choose from a couple different layouts here. And if you see where this little window is, that's where the photo goes later. If they have a featured photo link to their gallery. So I personally like for AdvancePay, since there's no photos in advance, to use like the modern horizontal or modern vertical design. If I use the modern horizontal, it kind of gives you max space to upload an image here. And you can, design something pretty, have like a featured product or package or something about your studio here. I would recommend not putting a lot of text in your image because there's a lot of text on the flyer. But use that space just to make the overall email or printed flyer that you're going to do here look pretty. This information is going to pre-populate according to your data that you have uploaded when you go and create this email. And you can edit text here. There is a character limit as well. You can add links here if you add a link because you want to direct them to a video or wherever. Your studio site will be here in the bottom and your studio contact information. But if you just put a link here, it will be like hyperlinked. It will be like blue like this when they get it in the email. And then you can do the sorting data. So this, after you get through all of designing, you can do your sort. So that's what that looks like. You can change the header here as well. Now you can send out flyers to multiple different things depending on, your data. Only send it to 10th graders, only send it to people who haven't accessed their gallery yet, only send it to people who haven't done something yet with the gallery. Those filters will appear according to the data in your job when you go to send out these manual flyers. So I have images here. Well, let me save the flyer. I'll turn that off and I'll save it here. And then when I go to send, I can send them direct to the organization. This is just what I was talking about here. No, it's all here, where you can put with a reference photo, with no reference photos, people that have matched photos to buy, or people with no matched photos. So you have a bunch of different filter options here. You can choose everyone, or you can kind of sort by only a specific group of people. Here's people with purchases, without, people that have access already, people haven't. So you can spawn those manual emails out if you have the emails in your data for them to go back with our flyer system here. They're just called manual flyers. And then here is our active messages. So when you publish a job or when you move a job, you'll see all the messages that are upcoming and when they are going to be sent out. Here's general messages, and then you'll see when they're actually sent. So here, so the SMS campaign, anyone who was opted into my job, which would have received a message on today. So at the time when I set it to AdvancePay, you'll see that here, all those messages. So there is transparency in when you're sending and when everything's hitting the road there. So, all right. So thanks for all those questions coming in, and thanks to my team for answering questions. I know that was a lot to go over. I'm going to go back into that job that is in AdvancePay, because what I do want to show you is that individual job URL. Now, I did not put this on an org page yet. I showed you guys what the org page looked like. I can show you that, but I'm going to look at my time here. I am going to show you what this looks like just for going to a job in AdvancePay. This is the job URL that goes right to the job. So this would also be listed on the org page as well. So I am going to click that link, and then I am going to share this tab instead. This is what it looks like. So before somebody, when they click that job link where you have gallery lookup enabled for the first time, they're going to be asked to create an account with PhotoDay. So your end customers create an account with PhotoDay. And I'm going to send that through, and it'll go through verification to make sure that they're really in position. This is their account. And then it will go right into the gallery where they click the link from and prompt them for a gallery lookup. So I am go get somebody's information out of the gallery. So this is Courtney Erickson. So Courtney Erickson and student ID. I'm going to show you what this looks like on my other screen and submit. Oh. All right, so if you enter it wrong, that is what happens. And I obviously entered it wrong. I spelled Courtney wrong. That was good for my demo here. So when you do it right, and they try again, it'll bring them right into the gallery. It'll have your information here, my phone number. It'll have your studio number here, whatever you have set up in your contact information for your account, what job they're under, and they'll be asked to subscribe for messages, and then they can go right into the gallery and select an AdvancePay credit and make that purchase, right? So you don't need emails. Can you show it what it looks like for customers prepaying? Oh, that's what I'm doing right now. So that's perfect. All right. So yeah, so we have some questions coming in here. I think our team can get to this. All right, so the AdvancePay credit, once they're here, they can put it in their cart and they can check out, continue to payment, go all the way through for here, and then it'll be loaded on their account. Now, if you notice, if you remember, I was the customer, I set up an account at the time I did gallery lookup. What I just did was I opted in for communications. I created an account using my mobile number. I got it by email. And now that information is linked to that gallery for communications moving forward and for that AdvancePay credit, right? So I will tell you guys this, the transactional marketing messages that a person enters in for their email, those are not quite linked to all those messages yet here. Those messages will only be received if you import emails with your data. However, they will receive the text marketing. They will receive all the text marketing messages. So that's something our team is actively working on, is making sure both email and text are received. That's kind of phase 3 to this whole org page gallery lookup project, but it is coming very, very soon. So that is what that looks like. And I am going to jump back over to price sheets now, because I did AdvancePay. That's what it looks like in prepay mode. And now I'm going to jump over to creating a price sheet. So I've kind of started playing around with this price sheet already for spring schools under Richmond. And let's see. So you can do different things in price sheets. You have photo add-ons right now. We offer retouching that you can upsell to your customers in the cart. It's completely optional for them to buy when you have it enabled. It costs you $2.25 per retouch. You can mark it up from there on what you want to sell it for, and then and then you make the difference in there. So you can enable retouching, you can sell it. We just have $8 in there as suggested pricing, but you can sell it for whatever that goes for in your area, depending on the job type. That happens instantaneously. It's our AI retouching. It is not going to take off drool and tattoos. It's more of like blemish removal and skin softening, but it does retain the texture of the skin. So it does a really, really great job. And we basically have like little to no complaints on that. There are people that buy retouching on everything, even though I don't know why. Sometimes it's preschool and it's weird that they buy it on 2-year-olds, but hey, some people just want to buy everything just to buy it, and just give them that option. You're good. Now for packages, you can set up packages basically all different. There's no limit on packages. I do recommend keeping it simple, because packages are automatic savings from your a la carte. So they're like, items with a built-in discount. And then if you're giving a discount on top of that, it can get a little too discounted. So you just want to make sure that you're aware of that when you are setting up packages. Now for the package description, I don't recommend putting what is in the package here, because that is going to happen automatically when we display that to the end customer. So instead, under package description here, you should describe how much they're saving in the package, and if you're throwing in something for free if they buy that package, like a free magnet in my example here. And then you can build out the package. What I will say here is we get this question a lot. Can you make a package only to have one image? Like parent can only buy one image in this package. No, you can't do that with PhotoDay as of today. But what you can do is make it so it's limited depending on how many items that you have in that package, depending on the pose. So if you take this 8x10 for an example, and I make it quantity 2, they're going to get 2 of the same image on that pack. If I make it quantity 1, and then I add another 8x10 here, just drag it up so it looks better. They can pick one pose here and one pose here, if that makes sense. So in this package, I did let them pick 2 different poses, but they get a 5x7 of 2 5x7s of one image, 2 5x7s of another image, 8 wallets of that's all one image, and then that's their free magnet. And then here you can name your retail price. It's going to include the base cost. So this is what it costs. This package is going to cost you coming from Richmond Lab. This is under Richmond pricing. All labs are a little bit different. You can see that in a la carte or in our support articles on what they charge. And then your markup is basically your take home before any incentives that you give away, taxes, and processing fees. And that's our PhotoDay fee on that package and our commission fee. So you can kind of see everything there. transparently when you're creating your packages. Now you can duplicate a package from here and then just open it up and adjust. I like doing this because it makes it really fast. And then you can put your savings, whatever that is, get rid of the free magnet, next, and then you can take whatever you need to take out of that package, get rid of the free magnet, make this one anyway, you get the point. I just wanted to show you guys how easy it was to set up packages here. Print products, this is going to be your a la carte section. So you can add like a bunch of print products. Oops, I just selected my whole screen by accident. You can select the whole screen, add them all at once. Here in the a la carte section, people are like, well, how can I ensure somebody's not going to order just a 3x5 or just a magnet? You can sell them in quantities of 2, the smaller print sizes, sell everything in packs of 2, or these smaller print sizes in packs of 4 even, if you wanted to, and then save. It'll add everything to your price sheet at whatever markup you set automatically, and then you can go through and set your unit pricing down in a row, however you're going to do it. It makes it easy. Well, woo, it's a lot of money for a package for 2 4x5s. But you can see how it works here. It's very easy to set this up. And if you need help, just reach out to us. Let us know. We're down here in this little chat bubble at any time. Now, digital products, I do recommend, I did a whole webinar on this last summer, but I mean, all about the value of digitals, and they are your single most valuable item. One, you have no production costs. You're not paying it for it like you're paying for a lab print. I implore you to change your mindset on digitals for this season and watch your profits soar. Digitals are your single most valuable item. Again, there is no cost to them and people want them. You might have 4 or 5 images in a shopping cart. Not everybody wants 4 or 5 images printed, right? But they want them all digital. So that's where digital bundles come in here, where you can incentivize people to buy everything. You start that off by setting what's your real retail price for your digitals. I'm going to put 35 here, and then you can bundle them. They buy 2 to 4, they save 10%. They buy 5 to 9, they save 19%. And you can play around and change this here. And this will incentivize them. The more digitals they buy, the lower they get per digital. It's incentivizing the end customer to buy everything from you and buy the prints too. But you know, digitals are a good way. I love digital bundles. They're really life-changing once you start getting into this. And yeah. And if you do a whole lot of images, I mean, nobody really wants 99 of the same similar images of their kid on their mobile device to share either. So, you know, be mindful of people's their space on their mobile devices when we're selling digitals as well. But anyway, so that's what that looks like in downloads. So, all right. So after this price sheet setup, I'm going to go back to my job and I'm going to just update my storefront and add that price sheet to the job. Since this is connected to Richmond, everybody will look a little different. You'll have these product themes or activity types here. Everything in PhotoDay is you know, done for them. So the labs have different themes for like memory mates or calendars or, you know, pro magnets or anything that has like a graphic border. Though they have various designs, and the end customer gets to pick from that design based on the activity type that you select here. So this is an underclass job. I'm just going to select underclasses. There's nothing on my price sheet that has a theme, but this is just in case, because you can edit things later and add things as you go when we don't want to mess up the experience with a customer. So that is what that does. Now, going into picture day, I am going to show you guys a video of capture and what that looks like. I was going to do it live today, but like I said, for sake of bandwidth and speed, I will show. So once you upload the data to the job, you can launch PhotoDay Capture on any device running iOS or Android. Log in as you, and you will be able to pull that from the job. So when you're on site, people do this all different ways with the Capture app. You know, sometimes I see photographers who will allow like a parent helper or the teacher to check in students, right? Because they'll just see a list and they'll select the person and they'll take a reference image of that person. That is what the Capture app does. It uses the face of the subject to cluster all the photos where it finds those faces when you upload to the gallery together into one gallery. It works like magic. There is no timestamp. There's no like limitation of faces. I mean, it does a really, really good job, and especially good when you're doing sibling photos, class photos, things like that, and you want to quickly cluster them into galleries. So let me just show you guys a quick video of what it looks like. Actually, I think I have to stop sharing my screen and start this video. All right, so you guys should be able to see this now. So they would just select the person. You can filter and sort, capture the reference photo. We just pretend that photo is somebody standing in front of them, and associate the data. Now, as they're doing that, I will show you what it looks like back on my screen share. And here we go. Those reference photos will start populating live if they're connected to the internet. Now, do you need to be connected to Wi-Fi to use PhotoDay Capture? Oops, that's my notes, guys. Nope, you do not. Sorry, shared my notes. You do not need to be connected to Wi-Fi or the internet to use PhotoDay Capture. You can put it in sync mode, and then later when you are connected to the internet, it will sync. Sometimes, often schools don't have great Wi-Fi or internet, or you can't get your hotspot working in there. That is totally fine. Just make sure you launch the Capture app to pull down that data you uploaded before you get to your dead zone, right? So you do all that beforehand. Then you get there, you can work completely offline and then sync online later. Now, these reference photos are already in the gallery. The reference photos will not appear for your customer to purchase. They say reference photo here because they are literally just for reference. They're for the photo clustering only. Sorry, let me get back to my other screen here. I just want to make sure we're going along here. All right, cool. So after picture day, after you have all your reference photos, and if you don't get everybody's reference photos, that's fine. We have ways around that as well if you miss somebody. But I want to show you what it looks like when you upload your photos to this gallery, and how everything's going to match. So I'm going to go back to this main photos view, and then I'm going to select my folder of images. You won't be able to see it because it opened on my other screen. And then I'm going to upload everybody's photo, and you'll watch it now live as it'll go through in process. So when you upload the PhotoDay, it's doing a couple of things. Besides uploading, it's also running face find and doing that facial clustering, and then matching everyone to their galleries. Now, mine worked really fast because these are small files designed to get through this demo very quickly. This will also depend on your internet speed and also how great of a computer you're on. Like browser, I always recommend Chrome browser and making sure you're on a pretty decent CPU, because this is pretty powerful technology, right? It's not, you don't want to run into problems, run out of memory, all that stuff. You're doing a lot of stuff in a web browser with PhotoDay, so just be mindful of that. If you ever run into any blips, just refresh, restart, log out, log back in, all that good stuff usually fixes it for you guys, especially if you're running out of memory at any time. But so you can see it did a good job. It matched all their photos. These were identical photos, which sometimes it struggles with that. It needs like a little bit different, but it did a pretty good job here. You'll see all your photos. You'll see any that have not matched, and then you can ignore faces. This is a feature we had to build. It was really fun the first time we launched private galleries with Face Find, and then somebody used it at a Santa holiday event, and Santa was in every single photo, and he was coming up unmatched. So we had to build in this ignore faces. It's also quite popular now for students to wear like t-shirts with like Snoop Dogg on them and stuff, and so you might want to ignore Snoop Dogg's face so he doesn't throw some errors if that happens. But that's what that looks like here. All right. And then we're going to set up yearbook selection. So I want to show you what that looks like. That's going to be located in our, where's it at? So here in our settings menu. So yearbook selection is brand new. If you want to enable the ability for the parents to select their yearbook photo that will go on your exports, that is where you can do that here. So you can do up to 2 poses right now. You can label for the yearbook selection. So I'm just going to call this one formal pose. And then you can set the deadline here. And this will I'll show you what that looks like. You can put any additional instructions here that you want to tell your customers, but it is called yearbook selection. We've got a lot of feedback on that. You guys got really excited because you're all creatives and you want to use it. Created away. Oh, all right. That just gave me it just can't be changed when the job's published. It's fine. I'm not all the way published. All right. So that is what that looks like. And then I have photos. I have a price sheet. I can go ahead and publish the job now. And then I want to go back to this gallery just so I can show you guys what this looks like now that it's published. I'm going to go back to this gallery. And I am going to view my photos. And now I can see the photos. You can favorite, and then you can shop. This is what it looks like to the end customer. I set up download bundles, 2 packages, and yeah, I don't have a whole lot of stuff in here. I did put all those print products in there, selling them super cheap because I didn't finish doing my price sheet. You can kind of see what that looks like here. All right, so that is A to Z. Let's see. I want to show you guys. Oh, Rachel, your question is, so you don't publish the job until after you upload the photos? No. Prepay, so there's a difference. Let me show you this really quick on this tab. These are your job statuses here, right? You have draft when you first create the job. If you want people to buy credits, you put it to AdvancePay, and then you actually publish for them to buy photos. So while it's AdvancePay, they can't buy photos. They can only prepay. You have to publish to have them buy the packages. So after you do picture day and upload the photos, then you can set the job to AdvancePay. That's what that means. So now you have the ability to, do yearbook photos, mark primary photos. If you need to do exports, we can do that. I am like way over on time and I wanted to show you guys some more stuff as well. But in the services section is where you would do exports. I'll show you what that looks like. I'll do a yearbook export really fast. And from here, you can select all subjects, only subjects that have reference photos, because you may have not photographed everyone, but for yearbook, you want to do all subjects. It'll dump in the PSPA file any missing people that did not have photos taken for the yearbook staff. And then you can, basically this is the same filter we saw in marketing flyers, looks the same, and you can group, and then you can do your export from here. So we have a couple different exports. I'm gonna just put everyone in here. All subjects, yeah. Only subjects without purchases, yeah. And then you can export everyone from here when you want to do that. I'm gonna, for sake of time, because we've been here for over an hour, I'm gonna show you guys some other stuff. Yep. And let's go back to my slides. Turn the screen share off. Turn my video on. Oh, hi guys. I was talking for a long time in that screen share. I knew I wasn't gonna get done in an hour. But I have some more slides to show you that I wanted to talk about. All right. This is what I wanted to show you, because these are actually taken from live galleries, and I wanted to show you what these insights look like into your job. when you have an active job, right? I understand sometimes things are hard to look at when it's like in a demo account with no data, but I wanted to show what this looked like. So here's one of the things that I want to stress the importance of, and this is why org pages exist. This is why gallery lookup exists, right? But one of the things I wanted to stress the importance of is driving people to the link to actually view their photos. If people do not access their photos, if they have not seen their photos, you cannot convert them to sale, right? So it is like the number one most important thing is looking and paying attention to that percentage access. How many people that you have matched subjects, right? Matched subjects mean how many people that you imported as a subject has matched photos to that subject, and how many people of those have actually accessed their galleries. Because that's really what's going to drive those metrics that you're looking at to determine your overall success of the gallery that you have published with PhotoDay, is how many people are looking at it so you can convert them to sale. And in here on this one job, you can see about a little less than half the people that view their photos placed an order, right? So if you could get 100% of people to look at their galleries, what would that do to your percentage ordered, right? So when you're setting goals for yourself and you're like, I don't know, I'm not getting the sales I want, you know, we're trying to develop tools here at PhotoDay that allow people to access their gallery. They can find their photos to give you a higher chance of converting them to sale using the marketing strategies, your amazing images that you're creating. All of those things are going to help convert somebody to sale. So those are the things that we want to look at here in the insights in your account. Now, this job had zero advance pay. And this is this case in point, has a $61 order value, which is great. It is fantastic. But when I go to this job, they have advance pay credits, and they have a much higher order value, $87. These are both schools, and just blurred out for privacy, but they're both school jobs. But you can see that this one has a lower percentage of overall people that are ordered, but higher AOV. It's never the same across the board. There are two different regional locations, two different types of schools, private school versus public school. There's all those different things that you're looking at. And what's successful for somebody else, I just don't want you guys to get discouraged entirely, might not be successful for you. It really depends on the job, what your customers are used to, what you have been doing. And when you're trying PhotoDay for the first time, all this stuff matters. And even if you've been using PhotoDay, you used it last season and you want to come back this season for round 2, there are things in the data that we can look at and say, not everyone accessed their galleries last year. What can we do different? Let's do org pages. Let's do gallery lookup. Let's change our marketing strategy to get people to buy sooner. They waited a little too long last time, which could hurt your participation rate and who actually buys photos. So all those things you want to look at data over time, and start paying attention to those metrics, because now you have them, which we didn't have before on paper forms. It was just like, sprinkle order forms out, get them back, and count our cash, right? Like now there's a lot of other metrics we can look at. So, and then there's a lot of different reports in here that we can dive into that you will see as you start selling with PhotoDay. So we have the overall sales report. That's just like accumulation of all your sales by month, and some of the fees by month. It's just meant for like a top level bird's eye view of your historical activity by month in PhotoDay. You have the report section under orders. That's your individual order reports. Those are filterable by date ranges and by jobs, or you can view it all. Now, if you have a lot of jobs and a lot of orders, it's going to take a little bit to query that data. But if you're just starting out, it should be pretty quick. You can expand that view and you can see all of the different fees. Here at PhotoDay, we are a marketplace facilitator. What that means, when you're selling with PhotoDay, you are considered a marketplace seller. This is important when you're coming from paper forms or maybe a different type of sales. What that means is the way you report your income to your state changes. As a marketplace seller, it is now marketplace seller income. That way, the IRS doesn't come go, why aren't you paying me? The state doesn't come go, why aren't you paying me my sales tax? Because as a marketplace facilitator, we are responsible. PhotoDay, we as in PhotoDay, is responsible for collecting and remitting that tax in all the states where applicable. Some states have different fees, like the delivery fees. Colorado and Minnesota is new. We handle those fees as well. And then we take care of that for you, and we we give that to you in a report. We also have the product report in here. So under the product report, it will give you the name of the price sheet and how many units of that item or package you sold on that price sheet. I like to review this. It's great for giving yourself a little raise season over season. If you see something that's selling a lot and you bump it up $1 or $2, you can potentially make some more revenue, right? Give yourself a little bit of a raise. If you see something that you're offering a la carte that you haven't really moved much of at all, you can decrease the price a little bit to sell a little bit more, right? So you might have it priced a little bit too high. So reviewing your product reports is an important step in preparing for the fall season, especially if you're a returning PhotoDay user. You want to check that out as well. All right, what else do we have to go after? I'm just looking at my last bit of my notes. I think that is all I have to go over today, guys. I'm like 10 minutes over. So for anyone who is not familiar, I'll just go over how much does this all cost you. We're basically a freemium model, so we don't have any support costs or recurring annual fees or monthly fees right now. So it's basically a pay-as-you-go model. We do 10% of the transaction. That is before tax and shipping. So if you sell something for $50, but then there's, $5 in tax and $5 in shipping, our transaction fee for PhotoDay comes off before tax and shipping, which is different. So I'll just point that out. We do have volume discounts available. If you're doing substantial annual volume, if you expect to put a lot of retail sales through PhotoDay, talk to us. We can help with that. The credit card processing fee is through Stripe. So that's 2.9% plus a 30 cents per transaction fee. Again, if there's, mom has 3 kids in that school and she places 3 orders under one, that's only 1 transaction fee, just FYI. And then, of course, out of that end consumer transaction, we take care of all the fees. So we remit payment to the labs. We take our fee, we do your taxes, all the fees go, and then whatever is left goes into your PhotoDay account, which then gets migrated to your Stripe account. So all your revenue comes back through Stripe, and then you can set the frequency from Stripe on when to transfer that to your bank account. So the only thing additional that that's not on here that we talked about in the beginning of the webinar is if you buy PD credits. So if you buy any credits through PhotoDay for knockouts or color correction, or if you're selling retouching, you saw the cost there is $225 per retouch, and you can mark that up. But that is what PhotoDay costs you to use. No obligation here, so you can always just try it on a retake day. If you've got spring galleries that you did on paper, or spring jobs that you did on paper, and you just want to try it out and upload it all to PhotoDay and remarket it to your org. You have a good relationship with them just to get some feedback. Hey, do you guys want to try this next year? I encourage you to do that. It's a great way to get your feet a little wet, stick your toe in the water, see if it's something for you, and a great way for you to learn the system in a live environment. I definitely recommend that. And then last but not least, thank you guys. Majority of you stuck on with me this entire time, like 12 minutes over. So I'm trying to hold it together for the very end here. But thank you guys. You can email us at support@photoday.io, or if you already have an account, you can just send us a chat. We would be happy to connect with you on any and all the things to help you prepare for success this fall. So thank you guys for everything. And yeah, hopefully all the questions got answered. I think they did. A lot of questions got answered. Thanks to my team for handling the chat today. We had a lot to go over. And yes, there will be a replay of this with bookmark into that nice little organized agenda, because I know I just crammed a lot of information into everyone's brain. So you guys can go back and revisit just segments of this if you want to look at it again. Thanks, April. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, everyone.